I don't know if John's in the crowd. I can't see him or not, but I want to tell you something about him because it's the reason why I'm here. I now teach at what I consider to be the greatest university in the U.S., the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. And I had a cadet who wasn't seeming to connect to the faculty. And I was having trouble with him. And I finally approached him and I said, "What is it that I'm not engaging with you?" And his response was that his father had left when he was 5. His mother had passed away 2 years earlier. He has no sisters, no brothers, no grandparents, literally no adult. And even his mentor had moved away in his junior year. And I did not know how to reach this cadet. So I invited him to join me at a conference in the Hamptons so that he could meet with some really interesting, engaging people and have an interesting intellectual conversation. And what happened was, John was there. And it wasn't working. And John said, "Let me take this kid out. Let's go out for a meal. Let's have a conversation." And to make a long story short, because this is much too long, but I need to get it correct, John's engaging this kid. And eventually he says to him, "Would you stand up, please?" And the cadet stands up. John walks over to him and gives him the biggest hug I've seen a human being ever give. And I noticed that the kid starts to shake and he starts to cry. And that was the last moment that this kid felt any kind of shame or disappointment for the situation that he was in. Because in that moment, as John is hugging him, all the sadness and all the regret and all the pain and suffering went away. I've never seen this before. And since that day, in fact, John, are you in this room? John, are you backstage? Somebody get him, because I want to be able to explain. I'm not going to disappear, but can you guys find him back there? Because I want you to know something. This kid graduated Sapper School, which is the equivalent of Engineering Ranger School, in the first try. Nobody does that. This kid has been invited to Ranger School at a younger age than anyone else. This kid is a success story, and he is a success story. So I want you to know this. And I'll get emotional talking to you, and we know each other a little bit. That hug gave that cadet life. That hug gave that kid a future. You didn't know him, and you found him, and you connected to him, and it's what you do to every single person in this room. And I don't want to talk about you. I wanted to talk to you. You're a gift. You're magic. God bless you. No. So I'm going to try to give them some language to say thank you. I'm here because that happened. Otherwise, I'd be at West Point. I flew down this morning. I'm flying back tonight on the last flight from Atlanta. But I want to try to be helpful to them. So because I'm so grateful to you, because I'm here for you, any advice you give me to have an impact on these people here, because I got to tell you something. This is a special gathering. I can only see up to about the first 2 rows. I know how special you are. I know how much you matter to him, and I want to have an impact. How can I have an impact?
So, Frank's a genius. He's known as a pollster, but really I know him as somebody who deeply cares. And what Frank was concerned about, in my opinion, was whether his left brain was going to connect with his right brain. His right brain is where the heart and the caring and the intuition and the feeling is, and whether he was going to be able to relate and connect to you. And I told him, and I'm telling you the same thing. The only thing that matters is authenticity. We're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience.
Write that down.
And energy matters. And if I don't like me, I'm not going to like you. If I don't feel good about me, I'm not going to feel good about you. If I don't respect me, don't expect me to respect you. If I don't love me, I don't have a clue how to love you. And the most powerful thing, if I don't have a purpose in my life, I'm going to make your life a living hell. Because whatever goes around. And so in relationships, Frank, I think a giver and a giver is exotic. That's why you and I get along. We're both givers. A giver and a taker is neurotic. And a taker is psychotic. And a lot of people are in messed up relationships, whether it's husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend or business partner or employee, because it's toxic. You've got a giver and a taker, or a taker and a taker. And I just like to get toxic people out of my life. I can do better all by myself. I don't need help. Or as Quincy Jones, God rest his soul, said to me recently, and several of you say it often, the only thing worse than being alone is wishing that you were. So the thing that nobody does is the thing that you do through your science and your technology. And all I did was translate that from the left brain to the right brain when I saw that young man. You feel people, you read people, you go behind the curtain and get to the real. And all I did was see that man's soul and his heart, not just his brain. I saw the little boy, he's still hurting. I saw the young man who wants his daddy. I saw a person who wants to love and be loved. And in reality, don't we all want to love and be loved? Yes or no? Yes. So do me a favor, so I'm just staying up here all damn night. Please let Frank know that he's loved and you feeling it.
Okay, so let's get the slides up. Get your notepads out. You can take your phone out. I want to show you what I've got a lot of stuff to show you. Okay, it's right behind me. First thing, we're mad as hell. That, by the way, that guy looks just like my uncle, and it's why I wish I was adopted. You can't get anything out of life if you're mad. You can't get anything out of life if you're so agitated and furious that you don't listen, that you don't learn. I want to show you that it's around you here in Atlanta, across the country. We're a very angry people, and we're having trouble right now. And this is one of the reasons why. Something that's equally important, and this to me is the most important data I can provide you. Only 2/3 of Americans think they're invested in their country. And when you ask the question, is America invested in you? Just 1/3 say yes. This is awful. This is not a problem. This is a crisis. The idea that you don't believe in your country and your country doesn't believe in you, we have got to change that. And that's going to have to come not just from you in this room. That will have to come from the politicians and the business leaders and people who say enough is enough. We have to stop treating each other with meanness and contempt and have to treat each other instead with kindness. This will freak you out. 4 out of 5 Americans say we're more divided now than at any time. I know who the city is, what the city is famous for. You realize that if you're over age 65, if you look at the bottom of the slide behind me, if you're over age 65, 90% say we're more divided. What was happening in the 50s and 60s? Cities burning down, people being bludgeoned on the streets, the assassinations of Martin Luther King and Bobby Kennedy, Watergate, oil embargoes, double-digit inflation. And yet we think we're more divided now, and that is a genuine problem that we face. And this is an issue that I'm going to ask you not to do. Half of Americans have cut someone out of their life because they disagree with them politically. We can't be doing that. I know how agitated you are about politics. Look, I was in the White House. I should not admit this. I don't know if this is being recorded. I was there on December 23rd, 2020. It was the final Christmas party of the Trump administration. And after a couple hours, I finally got the guts to go up to the president and ask him, what does the J in Donald J. Trump stand for? You know what he told me? Genius. Okay, but we're not doing politics here. One third of the country has actually stopped talking to someone because they disagree with them. And this happened over Thanksgiving, and it's going to happen over Christmas. You know who it happens with most? Grandfathers and granddaughters. It's the strongest family relationship. It's not husband-wife, obviously, or brother or sister, or parent-child. It's grandparent-grandchild because they both have the same enemy. You'll figure that one out on your way home, trust me. And we can't be treating each other like this. It is a genuine problem. And I'm going to show you something right now because I'm going to give you my first piece of advice. 2/3 of people under age 30 know someone personally who's been damaged by social media. Damaged intellectually, physically, mentally, emotionally. How many of you have got children between the ages of 10 and 18 in this room? Raise your hands. Okay, you're going to want to write this down, and maybe you got grandchildren this age. I'm going to give you, in order, the way to keep your children happy and healthy, drug-free and alcohol-free. Number one, how often do you have dinner with them at night? It needs to be 5 nights a week or more, because that proves to them that they're the most important thing in your life. If you're having dinner with them 2 nights a week or less, they're being damaged. They're being destroyed. Nothing matters more, and I mean whatever financial efforts you want, whatever you're trying to seek in life, there's nothing more important than your children, and there's nothing more important than dining with them, because that tells them that they come first. Number two, how often do you attend religious services with them? You want to do it once a week, because if they believe in God, then they believe in something that is more important than themselves, something that they cannot see, but they know it's there. Number three, do you check their homework 4 nights a week or more? Because that teaches them that their intellectual development is even as important as their physical development. Number four, do they tell you where they are on Friday and Saturday nights accurately, honestly, and do you demand the truth from them? Because if they'll lie to you about where they are and who they're with, they will lie to you about anything. Number five, do you take a trip with them for at least a week at a time where you leave this thing, if I can pull it out, this thing is the worst. And if you pick it up when your children are talking to you, you're doing real damage to them. There's nothing I'm telling you that you don't know, but I have too many moms that come to me and say, I can't get my daughter to put down the phone. And my answer is, take it and flush it down the toilet. If you're not willing to practice tough love with the phone, then you're losing them. And I've seen too many children addicted because of this. And number six, do they participate in a team sport? Because that means that they're responsible to each other and they know that they cannot let each other down. Give me 5 out of those 6 and I'll give you a happy, healthy, drug-free, alcohol-free child. There's a negative. Give me 2 out of 6 or worse, and I'm going to show you a child that's in trouble. So that's the first lesson here. I now want to bring up some of the language so we can go back to there we go. The single highest priority is the truth. Nothing matters more. I know that there are people here, just by applause, how many of you get your news from Fox News? Applaud. I knew it. Who gets your news from CNN? Still? Who gets your news from MSNBC? The only news network with more letters in its name than viewers. So I told that joke on live television. They fired me 7 minutes later. My father was so proud of me, he bought me a car. So we want the truth. We have a right to the truth. We have to demand the truth. And not the truth as in someone's interpretation of it. What is really happening out there, what you can do about it, how you can change it. The truth matters more than anything. Note number 2, those of you who want to start a business, those of you who are interested in doing more economically, you have to be willing to tell your stories. This is a great practice for tonight when you're done from here. What is the coolest thing that happened to you in the last year? Focusing on businesses and finance. Tell me a story that matters. Tell each other these stories. That is how you're going to get money. That is how you're going to get investors. That's how you're going to attract believers. You have to be able to tell your story, and if you're shy, get over it. And I know that John will give you better ways than my saying get over it, but you have to, because we wanted to know who you are. If I'm going to invest in you, and I will, I need to know what's in your heart. I need to know what's in your soul. So, what matters most? Even more than how you treat your community, it's how you treat your employees. In the end, people would decide whether you deserve their investment by whether you invest in the people who work for you, whether you invest in their hopes and their dreams and their children and their families. The more engaged you are with your people, the more likely that others will be engaged with you. Next, I want you to have a detailed plan of action. I don't know if it's going to be 2 pages or 20, but I want you to call it a detailed plan of action because that's a focus on the action. Detailed, because it means that you thought it out. Plan, that you've written it down and you can prove it. And action says you're actually going to get it done. Nothing else matters. Forget the strategy for the future. Forget the clearly defined purpose. A detailed plan of action is what businesses are looking from you, what investors are looking from you. Now, I invite you to take a picture of this because I wanted to create a lexicon for all of you that you can take from here going forward. The most powerful word in the English language is the word imagine. Imagine life at perfection. Every one of you in this room has a different vision, but every one of you in this room is correct. You imagine a better future. That's how you begin to achieve it. You imagine economic success. That's how you get it. You start with that imagine, and you describe that picture to people. Next, it's not security. It's not predictability. It's peace of mind. You give people peace of mind, and they will trust you, and they will follow you. Security means you need a fence or a dog or some sort of weapon. Peace of mind means you don't need any of that because you're feeling good. You're feeling okay. I don't want to go through all of these, but I want to go through another maybe half dozen. Cleaner, safer, healthier. How many of you want a cleaner environment? Applaud. So if you're taking notes, circle the word sustainability. Draw arrows to it and put a big fat X through it. Because sustainability is the status quo. If something's sustainable, it means that river's going to be there. That mountain's going to be, you're going to be able to hike it, you can be able to fish it, do whatever you want. But that's not who we are. And I know that's not the people who are attracted to this. You're looking for something better, cleaner, safer, healthier. You should be about improvement, not about the status quo. That's absolutely essential. More efficient and more effective. More efficient so it allows you to do more with less, and more effective so that everything you do well. I'm gonna add one more to that, and more accountable. So if you get it wrong, you're held responsible for it. More efficient, more effective, more accountable. This is how you communicate what you're trying to do. Unfortunately, we don't trust things anymore because people make claims that they cannot keep. That's why you have to add the word real. Real results, real solutions. People need to know that you're going to have a real impact on the future. And by the way, I don't know how to do this because I know I can't come down there, but I think that there are microphones going around here because I want to be responsive to you all, and I'm going to run out of time. I hear you, I get it. Shows that you're listening and that you're learning. And in fact, for those of you who need to do an apology, you need to communicate this 3 times. I hear you, I get it. How can I fix this? Or how can I make it better? When you're in a situation and you're having an argument right now, I was listening to this table over here. I don't know who you were arguing with, but apparently your spouse really pissed you off. You have to hear them say that apology 3 different ways before you start to believe it, and you only gave it 2, so that's not good enough. This is a community, so we need to be doing things together, and together we can. Si se puede in Spanish. Yes, we can. That idea of working together for a greater cause, people will want to sign up for it. And one more for you, which is a meaningful, measurable track record of success. Meaningful, so I can feel it. Measurable, so I can prove it. Track record for good times and bad. And success, because that's my ultimate goal. This is your checklist. These are your 21 words to help you with whatever entrepreneurial project you want to do. And you have a mic. Who's got microphones here? If anyone wants to shout out a question, I'm going to stop for a second. I'll keep this up for one more moment. Does anyone have a question? Oh, hold on. I'll bring it down. I can't bring it down, but I'll hand it to you. Anyone got a question here before I continue? Okay, I'll keep going, but just know I'll stop and I'll keep giving you opportunities. Don't call it capitalism. Capitalism is Wall Street. Capitalism are people who are wealthy already. Capitalism isn't the people who are in this room. You're about economic freedom. The freedom to move forward, the freedom to create, the freedom to grow. Capitalism is for those who have succeeded already. Economic freedom is for those who want to succeed. I see you got a question. By the way, hold on one second. Let me give you one more. Economic growth is for academics. Economic growth is for professors. Is anyone here teaching a university? Raise your hands if you teach a university. I see someone back there. Get out. I just wanted to do that, by the way. So you got a question over here?
Hey, I'm Jamal Boulder. I'm the founder of Ride and Roll. I take the basic concept of riding a bike and I use that to unite communities. What I want to ask you is, how do you go from small to scalability with those ideas? Also, I use ChatGPT to do my first logo, so thanks wherever they are. But it was a great event in Kansas City. Anybody want to ride a bike, we should get together, ride bikes.
So how do you go from small? That's fantastic. It's by making people around you invest in you. And it's something, and I'll give you the phrase, the language behind it, but you have to do it. It's believe in better. You have to have a better solution, a better widget, a better opportunity, better people, better engagement. It's never as good as, it has to be better. Every business that I've been involved with, I'm trying to think of an exception, I can't. If they make that commitment, and this is something that they live 24/7, and by the way, here's the bad news, you're gonna have to work your ass off. But if you've got that better solution, and you can communicate, which is why I'm doing these words for you, people will see it, They will come to you, and you'll get a chance to prove it. It's never as good as. Wipe that thought away from your head forever. It's always believe in better and then do better. That's the perfect question.
Before the next question, I want you to understand what he's doing up here. I don't know if you're really smart. You probably figured it out for yourself. All poverty, other than sustenance poverty, roof over your head, food on the table, all other forms of poverty are mindset. What game was played on people who were enslaved? They didn't want to destroy your body. They needed your body. They needed to destroy your self-esteem, your confidence in yourself, your belief, your faith, your spirituality, so that you didn't push up, so that you didn't fight. They wanted a depressed people, and they got it. Go through our neighborhoods. Drive home, go to the neighborhood you grew up in. And here's what you see. A check casher, next to a payday loan lender, next to a rent-to-own store, next to a title lender, next to a liquor store, next to a pawn shop, and a church down the street that's your local therapist. Black people say, oh, I don't want to go to a therapist. Somebody might think I'm crazy. If you black in America don't think you're crazy, you're crazy. That community is a 500 credit score neighborhood. Ambassador Andrew Young, who's here, said to live in a system of free enterprise and not to understand the rules of free enterprise must be the very definition of slavery. So we walk past these neighborhoods all the time like they're normal. It's not normal. They mess with our head. What he's trying to do, I was telling my brother Brad Johnson here, who's another brilliant man who you need to get to know, an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, a restaurateur. We'll introduce him later. Brad, raise your hand. Stand up. The black Clark Gable, Brad Johnson. Ex-model, everything. Denzel Washington's business partner, all that. The bad brother. But what he's trying to do here is to rewire from pain to promise. He's giving you a new language. He's asking you to get the noise out of your life. So you walk through life consciously oblivious of most things around you because it just doesn't matter. Get the toxicity and the noise out of your life. You hang around 9 broke people, you'll be the 10th.
Ask you for one thing, sir.
I'm done.
Hold it before he goes. John, can you give me 5 extra minutes? That's all I asked for. Okay. Yes. The difference between a job and a career. I don't want anyone to tell me you want a job. A job is 9 to 5. A job is something you do because you have to, not because you want to. A job is something that you're doing until you get the next one. You want a career. You want something that you do 24/7. You want something that you love, that you can't wait to get up, can't wait to go to, and you never want to lose it. Focus on a career, then a job, because you're focused on the long term. Another example. Okay, go ahead.
Check. Sorry about that. You have a wonderful presentation, Frank, and I'm going to be succinct.
By the way, can I say one thing? You got a great voice.
Hey, I appreciate that. Hey, who knows? Maybe I'll be the next.
Just so you know this, I needed you for the last 40 years of my life. I wouldn't have gotten no if you, again and again and again, if you'd been around. So I should tape you right now just saying something really cool.
Let's go then. Let's go. I'll walk with you, you walk with me. Let's walk the journey. Anyways, my name is Michael Cortez. I am the co-founder and COO of Data in Motion. We're helping underserved communities and career changers transition into high-paying tech careers without breaking the bank or going back to college. And I'm also a Morehouse graduate of 2022. There we go. So, Frank, very, very beautiful presentation. Changing the language, your inner language, as within is without, will start to change your life. I would like to know within your lexicon, what other words of humanity and love do you have that we can add to ourselves and within our communities?
By the way, these are words that aren't just good in this room. These are words that would be good in Washington, D.C., in the state capitals across the country, by our business leaders, and the number one word of all, it's actually two words, mutual respect.
Sure.
If we can deliver mutual respect, but you have to live it, you have to believe it, and you actually have to practice it. That's number one. Number two is to value people. It's even more than appreciate them. And I don't mean value it in terms of dollars and cents. Value them that you're grateful that they're there. Number three is I never say to people, have a good day. Because you know I don't mean it. It's not that I want them to have a bad day, but I don't believe in expressing words that are meaningless. Everything that we say should not only have meaning, but should also have purpose. And number four, and this is actually some good advice, don't be the last one to respond to an email chain. Because if you are, it means that it didn't actually matter. So when you start going, hey, thanks for that. No, you're welcome. No, I really appreciate it. No, the honor's mine. No, really, I'm grateful. Like, shut the hell up. So that every word actually matters. So what I'll do for you, because I know John does this for people, is talk to John. I'm going to send you the whole deck. In fact, if anyone wants it, but I want you to communicate. Will you do this favor for me? Will you go, I'm on X, and I use X to recruit for focus groups. And in fact, we got a video back there of John, and let's do this. Let's take this down. I know I have to get off, but I want to show one of these clips of John interacting with the community that was very skeptical and very cynical. And I'm just going to show you one clip. It's going to last about a minute and a half. But if you go on X and sign up to receive comments from me on a daily basis, I will give you all of this language that'll be helpful for you, not just now, but in the future, and hopefully it's a fair trade. And just remember, I'll never bother you. You decide when you come to read whatever I've written, so you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Can you guys pull up that video, just one of these videos, because I want you to show you how amazing John Hope Bryant really is. By a show of hands, how many of you think the system is rigged against you? Raise your hands if you think the economic system is rigged against you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of you. 12 of you. Achim, why is it rigged against you?
No matter how much my pay increases, it would either be rent that would also increase, or food that would also increase, or just regular activities that I used to do that's like tripled in price. I feel like it is rigged. I'm now making triple than what I did 10 years ago, and I'm still in the same situation.
Can roll right off what Akeem just said, which is my healthcare cost. It just went up. I'm on Obamacare, and I mean I'm near $1,000 a month for healthcare. I can't keep up.
And Dale, why is it rigged against you?
I'll just take you through my experience. You know, when I went to buy my house, I sat through a all day meeting for 8 hours, and I thought that I was going to get some information about how to get this house. And do you know what I got? In the end, it was like, fill out this form, and they basically separated us by credit. That's it. And the ones that had good credit was able to move forward, and the other ones, well, that's it.
Yeah, it's rigged against us. I'm not the only one, as you can see, and it's it's just it. I feel like you're in a permanent loop your entire life. Like someone mentioned before, if you're not born wealthy, so you're making the same money, but all your money is going toward your basic survival needs. So you will never get ahead. And it's already set up with people who are already elite in the lead in the race, so to speak, way ahead of us.
Stop there, because I know I got to get off. But John talks to them, and he gets them. Every one of those people who was cynical, every one of them was negative. They left the conversation with John Hope Bryant believing in the future, believing in tomorrow, and most importantly, believing in themselves. So if you can just pull this slide up, because I'm going to walk off, I promise. I want to give you one more thing to take a picture of, so that you have the background. Just snap a picture of this. This is how you succeed in business. I'm grateful to be here. I know how much stress there is in this room now, how much anxiety there is, but it will be gone by the time these 3 days are done. And it's because this is an effort in improving the future. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the American dream. This is America at its best because you are trying to make a difference in your lives. And God is my witness. You have so many people out there who want to join the journey with you. And with John by your side, you will not fail. Please, everyone, have a blessed evening. Thank you very much.